Muk, Morakan, Gwambu, Morach, Nachitang Nyunga, Marak, Mukmuk, 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 Morakan, Gwambu, Morach, Nachitang Nyunga. Back a bit, back a bit, so you pull me in. Yeah. Marak, Mukmuk, Morakan, Gwambu, Morach, Nachitang Nyunga. Marak, Mukmuk, Morakan, Gwambu, Morach, Nachitang Nyunga. Say it nice and strong, Mikey. Yeah. Marak, Mukmuk, Morakan, Gwambu, Morach, Nachitang Nyunga. 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 I'd like to invite Auntie May to do the welcome to country. Auntie May.
It's not easy with, is it? I would just like to say good morning, everyone out there, and good morning to everyone up here. My name is May Button. My dad is Dunghutti man from the Mid-North Coast. My mother is Bidwell Kernai from Victoria. But I am born in the middle. I am Durrable. And I would like to acknowledge and pay respects to my elders, past, present, and of the future. I would like to acknowledge the land on which we stand, we sit, we walk. The land of the Wadawadi, the land of the Wadi Wadi, the Eora, the Dharawal, and the Yuin people, the saltwater people. I would like to welcome you all here today and say Yalunga, Yalunga, which means welcome, welcome. But I also would like to say to the students and to those that are graduating today, be you. Only you can make your future happen in where you want to go and what you want to do, what you want to be. Walk in your shoes and you will see it happen. Don't be afraid to step out of the boat to make changes. I did that a while ago. I closed my eyes and said, I'm prepared to step where I've never gone before. But I also visualized myself and pushed the boat away so that I could not go back to that comfort place. In other words, I've got to face my fears and make my dreams happen. And I would just like to say to those that have invited me here, because I didn't do education very well, didn't finish high school, but I can actually say that I've been to uni now. And on that note, I want to say and finish with Yalunga, Yalunga. welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Auntie May, for that welcome. Welcome, everyone. My name is Professor David Currow. I'm the Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Health and Sustainable Futures at the University of Wollongong. I'm absolutely thrilled to be your Master of Ceremonies for this morning's ceremony. I would like to acknowledge our Indigenous Strategy Unit and our local Aboriginal community. Their leadership has brought to life a vision for an inclusive, reconciled and united Australia through this graduation ceremony, where we recognise that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are the knowledge holders of country. Thank you for joining us here today for this special occasion. Before we begin, I just ask that you turn your mobile phones to silent. The university is extremely proud of our graduates, and we are immensely excited to celebrate your achievements in person today. We also congratulate family and friends who have supported our graduates on their journey. We know our graduates have been through a lot. They have endured the many aspects of the COVID pandemic and have triumphed. And so here we are today to congratulate graduates of 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2022 on their many achievements, and to acknowledge their dedication and commitment to their goals and their aspirations to make our community and world a better place. Please join me in congratulating our graduates. Please now stand for an instrumental version of the Australian National Anthem. Please be seated. I would now like to introduce the Deputy Chancellor, one of the university's highest officials, Mr. Warwick Shanks, to give the congratulatory address.
Graduates, family and friends, welcome to this graduation ceremony. My name is Warwick Shanks and I'm the Deputy Chancellor of the University of Wollongong, and I'm honoured to be with you here today. It is truly one of the highlights of my role to be able to witness students celebrate this great milestone. I'd like to thank the Woollyunga Indigenous Centre and members of our Aboriginal community for your leading of the procession today. The smoking ceremony was incredibly moving and makes these events very special. I pay my respects to Aboriginal elders past and present and acknowledge their continued spiritual and cultural connection to the lands on which the University of Wollongong campuses are located. As part of today's celebration, we are focusing on the themes of the artwork Cultural Healing by artists Auntie Lorraine Brown and Auntie Narelle Thomas from the Kumadichi United Aboriginal Corporation. You will see this artwork all around you on your graduation booklets, as part of a stage design and in various other contexts. The artwork depicts bush tucker, ocean tucker, and medicinal plants and flowers of the dreaming stories. All of these things play a role in the health and well-being of Indigenous people, including the stories that explain how things came to be and why we exist. It is believed that this is where knowledge, strength, and a reason why came from. We hope to continue learning from and building a deeper understanding of this cultural wisdom. Looking out to this marvellous sea of gowns, I'd like to begin by congratulating each and every one of our graduating students. You are the reason we do what we do. Indeed, it's a special occasion for all of us, friends, family, teachers, mentors and others, but it is especially significant for you, our graduates. Today's events are the culmination of years of hard work, personal sacrifice and commitment. I hope you feel a deep sense of pride and will take this moment to reflect on your achievements and how far you have come. As a cohort, you share in a unique education experience in an extremely challenging time in our history. So much has changed in recent years, and like many industries, universities had to undertake rapid innovation, particularly in our teaching and learning. The strength and determination you have shown to get here will stay with you and hold you in good stead for many years to come. I hope that your experiences at UOW have shaped not only the person you are today and the career you are about to embark upon, but also the curiosity, empathy, and compassion you will take with you. The world is changing so quickly, and as we face complex social, environmental, and economic challenges, I'm confident that as graduates of the University of Wollongong, you are well placed to lead the way forward. The completion of your studies at UOW places you among the most employable graduates in Australia and indeed the world. The success of our graduates is one of the many reasons our university enjoys such a strong reputation and is ranked among the top 1% of universities globally, while aiming higher every day. With programs at campuses in Dubai, Hong Kong and Malaysia, and partner institutions in China and Singapore, I hope that you feel proud to be a part of a university with an outstanding reputation that spans the globe. Alongside the many changes that will happen in your lives following graduation, today also marks a new type of connection with this university, one I hope will be lifelong, through further study or as a proud ambassador. Joining our vibrant global alumni community of more than 170,000 alumni from almost 200 different countries, you are connected by the shared experience of studying at the University of Wollongong. As much as is possible, I encourage you to maintain this connection with the university and your fellow graduates. The relationships that you have formed during your time here will be invaluable in the years to come. Know this, graduates, you are our greatest achievement. And along with our researchers and partners, you are at the heart of UOW's mission to create lasting and positive impact. It's this community of like-minded people that has shaped our university to become a world leader for social and economic impact. Together with our partners, we're working to solve the biggest questions facing society and striving toward a better quality of life for future generations. This ceremony is public recognition of your commitment and achievement. It has been our absolute pleasure and privilege to have witnessed and played an integral role in your journey. I hope you will soak up every minute of these celebrations, remembering that this is not a conclusion. Indeed, this is a beginning. I hope you will capture these feelings of pride, energy, and passion and take them with you into the future. The transition you are making today from student to graduate is an opportunity to re-establish your priorities, take stock and focus on your future. It is time now to celebrate. Celebrate your hard work and success and know that the world is at your feet. As you set forth in your careers, remember to always be bold, be courageous and be strong, and stay true to your beliefs. Again, my very best wishes and congratulations to each of our graduates. May you have a very happy and memorable graduation day. Thank you for making us proud.
Thank you, Deputy Chancellor. It is now my great pleasure to commence the presentation of the 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2022 graduates to our Deputy Chancellor. I now introduce the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Business and Law, Professor Colin Picker, to present the graduates to the Deputy Chancellor for the Faculty of Business and Law. Professor Picker.
Good morning. Thank you, Professor Caro. It's my great pleasure to be here celebrating with our graduates today. We're very proud of what you have all achieved, and I wish to convey my personal congratulations to all of the graduates. Will the graduates who are to be presented with undergraduate and postgraduate awards from the Faculty of Business and Law please stand? Stand. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates to receive the awards from the Faculty of Business and Law.
In the name of the University Council and by my authority as Deputy Chancellor, I confirm your admission to the awards for which you have qualified.
Graduates, please be seated.
Ernest Bukasa Bukasa.
Slight technical issue there. First, Stephen
Sotirios Athanaseris. Ernest Bukasa Bukasa. Raymond Huang. Ramiz Khalid. Amy Zara Lewis. Wei Yang Bang. Yiran Wang. Sanskriti Acharya. Ain Firzana Binti Ahmad Zahar. Hudson Charles O'Rourke Alexander. Valentina Aliprandi. Harrison William Almond. James Andreos. Kian Wei Ang. Shannon Ashton. Mason Jack Ailing. Samuel Travis Balfour. Jade Leanne Bates. Emma Betts. Melanie Bleetus. Darren Briggs. Bianca Maria Candiago. Shi Ying Chen. Hia En Chow. Leon Cummins. Jordan Dacharo. Jia Trung Dao. Amanda Darcy. Alice Dow. Kiara De Freitas. Corey Spencer Dean. Ashma Dakal. Sally Ann Dina. Mark Dominis. Brianna Dorevsky. Ethan Dorian Nancaro. Paula Dvuchbabny. James David Eldred. Paulina Elena Fernandez Alarcon. Phoebe Ho Yan Gan. Nicholas William Grant. Muhupu Arechtige Nirusha Prashanti N. Gunawardena. Monica Gurung. Carly Page Haddon. Israk Hassin Druba. Jake Hensley. Jack Leslie Hewitt. Harindu Hipola. Joshua George Horton. Georgia Liberty Houlihan. Di Huang. Mackenzie Hunt. Alexander Yakuyo. Thomas Jackson. Natkatkuran Anaknulaki Jagatiswaran. Hao Ran Jia. Tiva Shaini Kandi Nazan. Chloe Kimmins. Taylor King. Aaron Kreltzheim. Avnil Kumar. Anthony Lamanna. Joshua Lin Kiet Lee. Samuel Lee. Ji Chin Lee. Jin Yue Lee. Winnie Lim. Imanti Lianage. Abby Rose Ludsky. Renee Rema Mastroianni. Zoe McFarlane. Dielza Miftari. Nathan Mills. Rebecca Jane Moore. Haley Mottram. Luke John Munro. Zara Nazin. Roya Nijati. Jesse George Newton. An Huang Kim Nguyen. James Nielsen. Samantha Nikolovsky. Trent Nerthen. Angus O'Rourke. Brendan Aaron Scott Palmer Brown. Lokukan Kanamge Dulakni Siatra Piris. Ryan Pfeiffer. Khan Kui Pham. Shayna Kate Pike. Jamie Shea Rawlings. Dewan Musa Rehan. Elise Riley. Anastasia Ristovska. Juliet Roth. Sujal Sapkota. Prang Satranont. Sabagya Sharma. Bianca Marie Simurina. Alexander Slavulyika. Xu Lin Tei. Anna Tchaikovsky. Sumika Tulachan. Alessandro Pietro Torri. Emma Therese Valance. Lara Marie Watchorn. Corin Liam Webster. Luke Westblade. Lauren Alsevsky. Nathan Ball. Alicia Maria Bencic. Eliza Jade Burnside. Emily Grace Carbone. Dhruv Rajesh Chani. Ying Yi Chin. Asha Zubair Shuhan. Yvette Ann Connolly. Vincent Cummins. Kan Nop Dao. Jin Chi Dong. Vivian Andrea Fraser. James Gligorowski. Celine C. Wei Go. Andrew John Gray. Thomas Ross Hardy. Leon Hatcher. Subani Pushpika Herat Mudayansalage. Gania Shafia Hernowo. Africa Pearl Hopkins Puquetos. Declan J. Hull. John Iafola. Caitlin Ilachoska. Sandy Kut. Simone Lavis. Chun Wei Lim. Annalise Mangialavori. Alessandra Marinesi. Devina Prashant Menon. Eden Murphy. Liam O'Callaghan. Teisha Okunowski. Kai San Ong. Kok King Ong. Ricky Jing Hui Ong. Kobiljon Ozodbekov. Bao Uyen Pan. Milena Michelle Rodriguez Blanco. Matthew Ronnie. Gabriella Marie Sandona. Chloe Jane Sargent. Julianne Sismondi. Pirichat Tiprod. Pei Shin Wan. Talena Rose Watson. Matilda Elizabeth White. Pei Ying Natasha Yi. Zachary Robert Montgomery. Ryan Andrew O'Shea. Yazid Marwan O'Day. Abdullah Anouer. Molly Barrett. Adam Charles Beder. Rehan Iqbal Chandna. Queen Nok Nu Chao. Koi Nguyen Tao. Matthew John Fairfax. Donald Hearn. Marie-Therese Alexandrine Juhel. Angeline Li Ying Lim. Holly Machon. Tekle Mariam Mengistu. Matthew Menili. Mai Hang Nguyen. Tui Lin Nguyen. Trung Nat Nguyen. Holly Olivia. Eleanor Grace Pilt. Joshua Ritchie. Jacob Robinson. Arjun Sindhu. Georgia Marie Tolhurst. Noah Watson. Luke Cartwright. Guy Lowy. Karen Nyasha Chanakira. Joanne David. Jackson Downer. Lauren Erdley. James Edward Lindsay Glisson. Christina Kumar Kumar. Nicola Marie Lombardi. Ciel Maddox. Ewan Thomas William Malcolm. Corey Markovsky. Tegan McConchie. Brooke Ann Thornton. Sarah Kate Poideven. Kiralee Rose Allison. Claudette Janelle Armstrong. Chelsea Barker. Liam McAnany. Oliver Jonathan Charles Sinclair. Dylan Thomas. Emily Andonoska. Emma Margaret Lewis. Ashley Nevaz. Mark Richardson. Romel Tallow. Monica Kostanowski. Cassandra Krista Mantis. Emily Varco. Riley Watson. Matthew David Stevens. Amy Liu. May Junru O'Regan. Madeline Maria Casey. Sweta Dachal. Ernst Johannes Jacobu Nell. Annika Catriel Louise Sarmiento. Katie Curls. Gabriella Abraham. Thomas McCarthy. Draganar Pirtenyak. Aaron Fanos. Michael Whiting. Julia DeWitt. Baladev Dayaram. William Robert Webb. Abby Lee Barron. Rebecca Jane Burt. Robert Michael Gatt. Marvin Montiel Gorospe. Greya Marina Kalimtsis. Tang Kwang Ku. Owen James O'Shea. Melena Faith Schuller Tate. Yingan Zhu. Carmen Nicoletta Akar. Fiona Margaret McCarthy. Maria Blazewska. Kiara George. Jared Russell Bowley.
We will be continuing with the presentation of awards shortly. I would now like to introduce our musical item for today. It's a pleasure to introduce J.R. Rain. J.R. Rain has been performing for as long as he can remember, whether on stage, in the studio with award-winning artists and producers, or lending his acting talents to a myriad of productions, including Home and Away. This young man already has an extensive career, including an ARIA nomination for his song, Rocks and Plans. JR's album, Go On Easy, is now out everywhere, as well as a string of singles that he released directly from his home studio during 2020's lockdown. JR is excited to be back playing live music, and we are very grateful that you're with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. And give yourself a big round of applause. Congrats. What a day. It might sound crazy what I'm about to say. The sunshine is here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon, oh baby, gonna space. Just let the air, baby, fly away. Because I'm happy, clap along. If you're a room without a roof, yeah. Clap along if you feel like the happiness is true. Cause I'm happy, clap along if you know what it is to you, yeah. Cause I'm happy, clap along, yeah, that's what you want to do. The combat news are talking this and that. Give me all that you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably tell you I'll be just fine. Oh, I don't mean to offend you, take time. Yeah, because I'm happy, clap along. If you're a room without a roof, yeah. Cause I'm happy, clap along. Yeah, if happiness is the truth. Cause I'm happy, clap along. If you know what it is to you. Cause I'm happy, clap along, yeah, if that's what you wanna do. bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. My love is too high, bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. Yeah, my love is too high, bring me down. Oh, nothing bring me down. Oh, my love is too high, bring me down. Oh, nothing can bring me down. 'Cause I'm happy, I belong. If you're ruined, how to roof, yeah. 'Cause I'm happy, glad along. If happiness is the truth. 'Cause I'm happy, glad along. If you know what it is to you, yeah. 'Cause I'm happy, yeah. Oh, congrats, UOW. Give yourself a big round of applause. What a day. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much and congrats.
Thank you, JR, for that uplifting performance. We will now present the awards for our postgraduate graduates from the Faculty of Business and Law. If you'll just bear with us, it's hard to switch from rock and roll back to graduation.
Michelle Stani de Silva. Srijana Rai. Jyotsna Ramasubramanian. Teyab Rehman. Baha Aldin Muhammad Suleiman Al-Muza. Raymond Kiplagat Toroitich. Joseph Fatima Ammaara Mariam Yusuf. Imran Ali. Atefe Alipur. Ahmad Butt. Manadipa Daruru. Fani Rohit Erebati. Shreya Jaiswal. Liza Johnson. Jaspreet Kaur. Daniel John Mahoney. Ki Pye So Mo. Mohamed Umer Raouf. Sandia Sankaran. Bhakti Save. Ayush Shrestha. Muhammad Rashid Anjum Khan Tonmoy. Karen Wilma Gregory. Si Yin Ho. Amit Kumar. Rajiv Reddy Palempali. Claudia Fabiano. Li Jia. Angela Paula de la Cruz Caicedo. Karina Ann Frank. Daniel Graham. Linda Jane Hatcliffe. Anup Kumar. Sean An Liu. Bradley Gerard Scotcher. Victoria Stoddard. Nathan Leslie Watson. Rachel Wrigley. Ashmita Acharya. Norris Kumar. Abhilasha Singh Libu. Batbaya Nyamsuren. Armin Abdoli. Adil Ahmad. Isabel Antunes Caldera. Claire Michelle Carter. Prabjot Kaur. AJ Kumar. Nitika Jain. Mutao Cha. Ik Fung Ng. Rolina Falma Bairelio. Faye Aborina Ciota. Dean Constantine Livanas. Madoka Morinaga. Rohit Mayana. Anthony Allen Chemanua Johnson. Cecilia Claire Leanne Senda. Li Juan Shen. Steffi Lin Luntungan. Sinead Louise Rulston. Christine Jutamar Hunter. Sarangwa Amarsana. Shilpa Bhattarai. Mohammed Farouk Ajaz. Tariq Farid. Sanju Gautam. Harpreet Kaur. Jai Jatin Joshi. Rose C.G. Kachapili Joan. Sabita Karki. Mercy Chelagat Kultani. Muhammad Abdul Ahad Muzammil. Neha Mukia. Sumaita Proma. Tejan Raju. Prince Rana. Rajan Shrestha. Ramiz Syed. Khalil U.R. Rahman. Rui Ting Ye. Nanapat Acharya Butur. Charna Chandrakant Bosmia. Reka Malepati Shrestha. Chakyun Johora Mustafa. Rutvi Shet. Karishma Shrestha. Prithvi Sagar Kempar Birana Chandrasekhar. Pratmesh Santosh Ajgankar. Andrionzi Derek Aziku. Thomas Isaac. Gerline Kaur. Kansia Nongluk. Syed Mohammed Adil Rizvi. Nopadon Ruing Visetsop. Jerin Francis. Kochapan Buchan. Benita Denny. Vignesh Ponusami. Naruimon Sainchaiwong. Aishwarya Shibu. Lorraine Trinidade Lopez Coelho. Arbar Yasir. Yinmon Mint. Nidhi Narain. Jia Chun Chen. Aiden O'Hara. Celia Louise Dalby. Sampat Bandaralage Indrachapa Rirokun. Ashwin Kumar Naveen. Fahad Ali. Prabhat Giri. John Mario Babu. Spash Goel. Avilash Pratihar. Shreyas Shrita Raut. Nishant Muthu Sithura Malingam. Manish Piakurel. Philip Fongsa. Formolo Elia Mpaula Shakane. Sofia Leticia Mendez Arevalo. Diana Marcela Garcia Ramirez. Nuzat Alam. Supriya Paul. Andrew Brody. Susanna Zhang. Hiritika Prakash Mulchandani. Miatet Tar Ong. Yukta Mekala. Kamaljit Kao. Divya Anthony. Kerim Elias. Ji Ning Law. Benjamin Matthew Newton. Shakespeare Tarpa. Shi K. Choi. Manirat Limnara Pirom. Avinash Jakani. Jia Liu. Konstantin Stergios. Kishen Kumar Muniraja. Ti Lan An Nguyen. Manami Shirai. Clara Jimena Gomez Suarez. Na Shen. Boni Manhar Otawani. Devika Shrestha. Shiwani Shrestha. Venkatachalam Venkatasalam. Salman Abbas. Supacha Ponsantia. Hussam Mohammed Gassab Al-Rawashte. Mohammed Sharaful Islam. Aswin Jose. Rajat Kumaswamy Mutiala. Thea Gabriela Hoff.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you from the Faculty of Business and Law for their bachelor degrees, Kate Wilson. William Johnson. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you from the Faculty of Business and Law for their master degrees, Karandeep Kaur Harpreet Singh Dillon. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you from the Faculty of Business and Law for their master degree, Hrudyavina Chilaramu. Imran Ahmed Matiwala. Tong Tong Guo. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you from the Faculty of Business and Law for their bachelor degree, Abhishek Dvikar. Ankita Prabhakar. And for their master degrees, Harsh Nilesh Rechura. And Purna Bardaj. And for their bachelor degrees, Linsen Lee. Jinyu Dai. Shuming Zhang. It is now with great pleasure that I announce our doctoral award recipients today. Will the graduates who are to be presented with the doctoral awards from the Faculty of Business and Law please stand? I see you're doing that. Well done. At PhD level, we expect this. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the doctoral graduates from the Faculty of Business and Law who, by reason of their thesis and other works at the university, have met the requirements for admission to doctoral degrees.
In the name of the University Council and by my authority as Deputy Chancellor, I confirm your admission to the doctoral degrees for which you have qualified.
Graduates, you may now be seated. Deputy Chancellor, I present to you for their doctoral degrees, for their study into developing new methods for evaluating structural change in the context of primary care in Australia, Dr. Alex McLaren. For their examination into understanding the success of the location attractiveness for Singapore as a maritime cluster, Dr. Mohammed Sharin bin Osman. For their exploration into whose rights to use coastal lands will be dominant in a climate-affected future, Dr. John Robert Corkle. For their exploration into law of the scene and marine environmental protection study, Dr. Yulu Leo. For their examination of the firm-level antecedents and consequences of say-on-pay voting outcomes and changes to say-on-pay legislation in Australia for the period 2005 to 2018, Dr. James Andrew Borthwick. For their study into sustainability drivers and practices in Vietnamese manufacturing using a multiple case study through the lens of the sustainability marketing mix, Dr. Van Deern Mike Dean. For their study into the impact of organizational climate factors and manager behaviors on the ability of employees to know and use their psychological strengths, Dr. Eileen Josephine Doolagil. For their exploration into children's thinking about leaders, specifically their ideas about the traits, behaviors, and functions of leaders, Dr. Claudia Escobar Vega. For their study into the evaluation and role of the retail brand to a retail financial performance, and to offer a new conceptual model of retail brand theory for multi-category mass market retailing in the 21st century, Dr. Antonio Fowry. For their exploration into the naturally occurring relational processes in Machiavellian leadership in organizations, Dr. Ni Puli Sharp Mamali Lina Gama Gay. For their study into an ethnography of the use of research and evidence by policymakers, Dr. Joanna Mason. For their study into the organizational capabilities and community capacity that support innovation by local government organizations, Dr. Jennifer Mary Thompson. For their examination into foreign direct investments and economic growth issues in the middle income level countries, Dr. Vipula Danan Jayorikra Marachi. For their study into interpretations and perceptions of the criminal justice system on Facebook following a high-profile crime, Dr. Kate Patricia Tubridy. For their exploration of the impact of subjective psychological and workplace well-being on citizenship behaviors of nurses and allied health professionals, Dr. Indrani Mukherjee.
I would now like to introduce Senior Professor Eileen McLaughlin, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health, to admit our Emeritus Professor to the University.
I now present the candidate to be admitted as an Emeritus Professor of the University. Will Professor Wilfred Yeo please stand? Deputy Chancellor, I present Professor Wilfred Yeo. Over a period of 15 years, Wilfred Winston Yeo has profoundly impacted medical education and clinical practice in our region. A highly respected academic and clinician, Wilf migrated from England in 2007 to become the university's Foundation Professor of Medicine and Clinical Pharmacology. He has provided exceptional professional leadership and governance over the ensuing years. He's balanced high-volume research and on-call clinical duties with direct supervision of our medical students. Wilf has been instrumental in building a strong foundation for clinical education and practice in the Illawarra. Through distinguished parallel service with the Illawarra and Shoalhaven Local Health District, ISLID, he has led excellence in care through numerous key leadership roles and worked tirelessly to embed quality medical and nursing training. Under Wilf's leadership, the Wollongong Hospital was recognised at the highest level for one of the teaching hospitals. Wilf also achieved the development of a vast programme of specialist and clinical education at both the undergraduate and postgraduate level, and he has expanded practice opportunities across the region. In more than 3 decades as a researcher, Wilf has conducted many clinical trials and published extensively in preventative cardiovascular medicine and pharmacology. He has served as Deputy Executive Director of the Illawarra Health and Medical Research Institute, IMRI, where he was instrumental in the design and in the securing of a $15 million grant aiding its establishment. As a director of IMRI's clinical research and trials units for 7 years, he built capacity to deliver fully funded pharma trials and investigator-initiated studies to the highest standard of ethics and practice. As a mark of the global esteem in which Wilf is held, Wilf is a Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians in London. He's also a Fellow of the Royal Australasian College of Physicians and a Fellow of the British Pharmacological Society. He's also a member of the British Hypertension Society, the Australasian Society of Clinical and Experimental Pharmacologists and Toxicologists, and a member of the Internal Medicine Society of Australia and New Zealand. Wilf retired in February 22, but he continues to grow his immense legacy to our organisation by teaching our medical students, advising the university and ISLID, and as a consultant emeritus at ISLID. Deputy Chancellor, Professor Wilfred Yeo has provided outstanding intellectual, collegial, and professional leadership across the university and delivered clear and lasting impact on our region's healthcare sector and on our community. It is a great privilege and joy to present Professor Wilfred Winston Yeo to be admitted as an Emeritus Professor of the University of Wollongong.
In the name of the University Council and by my authority as Deputy Chancellor, I admit you as an Emeritus Professor of the University of Wollongong. Congratulations. Thank you, Sean.
It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Emeritus Professor Wilfred Yeo to give the occasional address today. Please join me in welcoming Emeritus Professor Wilfred Yeo to the podium. Thank you.
I'm always looking for my glasses. Deputy Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, members of academic staff, distinguished guests, graduates, family and friends, I'm honored to be here, giving the occasional address and sharing this graduation ceremony with you. I congratulate you and extend my congratulations to families and friends who may have helped a little along the way, and to the academic staff of your faculty. The ceremony reminds me of my first graduation, which was 40 years ago. I graduated with a Bachelor of Medical Science in the Department of Pharmacology, an opportunity to learn about the very nature of disease and death. When I graduated from medical school 2 years later, I hoped it would give me an edge when treating patients and maybe helping to prolong life in the sick. Now, what changes have I seen over the last 40 years? And can I give you any insights on what you may experience over the next 20 years? I don't think I can predict 40, but I might have a go at 20. For me, the most important changes have been in science and technology. The advent of the home computer. I bought my first home computer in 1982. It was called a Dragon 32, and 32 referred to the RAM. It had 32K, a powerful computer for those days. You might laugh at that now. It came with no suite of software, just some programming languages that you could load on your computer by tuning in a cassette recorder. That's how the programmers came. It had another quirky feature. There were no lowercase letters. It just wrote in uppercase. It was obviously a computer for programming, not really for word processing. Nevertheless, with this, I was able to write a 12-line program that allowed me to calculate compound interest. We were buying a house and needed a mortgage, and I was able to do that with 12 lines only. This was a lesson for me because I was enormously empowered by being able to calculate something quickly and also do a little bit of modeling. What if I asked for this loan or that loan? Something that wasn't available to the general public. And I had really stumbled across mathematical modeling. It was tremendously empowering when I let the bank know that they were charging me £50 a month more than they should. With home computing came another major advance, word processing for all. MacWrite and the Word were the first to have this feature, this fantastic feature. What you see is what you get. What you see on the screen is what gets printed. Before, you would have something on your computer, you try to print it, and it doesn't look anything like the screen. So it was a major advance. So much so that publishing became easier and quicker. Newspapers moved from typeset and press technology to digital. And within 20 years, really all the old technologies that had lasted for 500 years of the printing press just went away. Another major change that I've seen in the last 40 years is we're living longer. 40 years ago, life expectancy for an Australian man was 72, and for a woman, 78. It was uncommon in my medical practice to see men in their 90s. It's very common now. We see men in their 90s and women in their hundreds. And dying also seems to have gone out of fashion in modern society. We don't talk about death. We try to avoid it. We want to live forever. And it's no longer seen, dying is no longer seen as part of the cycle of life. Sometimes to the detriment of those patients admitted in hospital with advanced stage, because we push interventions that have not been tested in elderly folk with multiple comorbidities. I've spent many hours explaining, but sitting on my hands to avoid doing harm to the elderly. Achieving the appropriate balance between spending and long-term care for the chronically sick, nursing care for the terminally ill, and hospital care for the acutely ill is a major challenge for healthcare systems. And that's going to fall on you guys. You're going to have to try and work out how do we pay for the cost of an aging population. Well, maybe it's wealth. Maybe that's the answer. Let's look at wealth. I said dying was going out of fashion, but personal wealth, increasing your personal wealth, boy, that's in. We are getting a bigger and bigger separation between the haves and the have-nots. And Credit Suisse produce an annual report on wealth, and it shocks me, even though I know that this is true, that the top 1.2% of the world's population with assets of $1 million own 48% of wealth. And the differences are getting bigger. Let's have a look at why this is, or why this might be. If you take a subsistence farmer in Ethiopia, asleep for 4 hours during the night, he has no chance of increasing his wealth. However, a millionaire or a billionaire from the US has algorithms that work out whether he should be buying or selling shares, electronic bank transactions 24/7, and staff ensuring that as soon as wealth becomes available, it's siphoned off. Sorry, I'll correct that. It's acquired by the hugely rich. Australia actually does very well in terms of wealth. We come fourth when looking at the amount of money that an adult man or woman would have if we took all Australian wealth and distributed it equally among adults. The sum is $550,000. And we're fourth, with the first, as you might imagine, the United States, then Switzerland, then Hong Kong, and then Australia. And we actually come first when we look at the median, which tells us a little bit about the relative distribution of that wealth. We're first for distribution. So the median for Australia is $270,000. For the United States, it's $87,000. That's because it's all up at the rich end. So how did we get things so wrong? Why don't we have an even better distribution? And this has been discussed recently with the budget, but we have a bit of a mismatch in thinking in Australia. On the one hand, we want to see all our population protected. We want the NDIS, we want money for aged care, cheaper medicines, better schools, better medical services, social housing, We have volunteers in the SES, the RFS, and we agreed with the vast amount of money that was spent during the pandemic. It buffered us economically. So this is sort of a Scandinavian approach to what the country should provide. But on the other hand, nobody wants to pay tax. We want everything, but we don't want to pay for it. In fact, I would say that avoiding tax is almost a national pastime. And we have an American approach to taxation and to protecting personal wealth. Well, I'd tell you something. I'm proud that I pay every last cent that the ATO tell me to pay when they assess my earnings, because I know I'm contributing to the infrastructure that I want to see in Australia. So let's wear some badges. Proud to pay tax. Well, there's a lot of change in 40 years. How do you manage change? Well, change has already happened. You can't stop it. You know, the clock was turning, the calendar's turning, there are new funding arrangements, staff turnover, and significant world events. These are inevitable. So I would recommend to you guys not to resist change, but try and be flexible. Use that change, embrace the change. Of course, sometimes it can be utterly wrong. Pick your battles carefully, but you can try and improve change. I'll give you an example. In 1987, I worked in the infectious diseases unit in Sheffield, in the UK. The hospital was in a bit of financial strife, and the new change was that we developed a policy to save money by using fewer ambulances if we sent patients who were due to have an inter-hospital transfer home first. So they would have to make their own way. They were in the convalescent stage of their illness, so that was thought to be okay. Now, I had a little bit of a problem with that because I had a patient of 27 who was from the Indian subcontinent and had been in the UK for 6 weeks as part of an arranged marriage. He didn't speak English, felt vulnerable, alone, living with her mother-in-law and her new husband. The family didn't own a car, so the patient and husband would need to go to a London hospital, the London School of Tropical Medicine, by public transport. Well, I wasn't going to put up with that. Even though I was quite a junior doctor, just a registrar, I saw the finance officer of the hospital and told him, you know, where's the compassion? How can this be? And I offered my resignation. You shouldn't do that very often because they'll take it. But he agreed. And I haven't told you what the disease was. She had leprosy. Okay, we had diagnosed leprosy. It's not as contagious as you think, but can you imagine the visual of having someone forced to go on public transport because we want to save money on an ambulance? No, when change happens and things are utterly wrong, call it out. Now, I'd like to end on some qualities that I urge you to develop. The first is the ability to look at problems through other people's eyes. You'll find that it happens with age and experience. You know, you're able to triangulate the problem by looking through other people's eyes. It enhances the respect that you have for individuals. If you can see through their point of view, you find yourself being nice to people. It helps you to delegate, and accept that personal development means making non-critical mistakes. That's okay. It's part of development. Now, life is a marathon, not a sprint. So set yourself a goal and a plan that shows how you're going to get there. It's really disappointing when you sit on an interview panel and you ask the candidate, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And it looks as if they haven't thought about it. Well, if that's the care you take over your career, what are the chances that you're going to be dynamic, proactive, and show the maturity in your job that you need? So you need to set a level of daily performance that is well above the minimum required. This will protect your autonomy. People give up their autonomy very easily. Students, they're sort of dropping out of pockets, their autonomy. How do they do that? By aiming to just hit the pass mark. If you aim to just hit the pass mark, 50% of the time you'll be below. And then you won't decide whether you're going to be a lawyer. It'll be someone in the faculty. So try not to give up your autonomy. Preparation is key for everything. When you go to meetings, when you are with a client, I really hate ward rounds in hospital that start with the team going to see a patient and they say, right, who's this? My God, can't you prepare? The preparation is key, and the best way to prepare for tomorrow is to do everything superbly well today. Now, you'll experience setbacks, that's normal. It's the rich tapestry of life. But believe in yourself and your abilities. Remember, the greater the effort, the greater the joy and celebration of success. Be prepared to take opportunities. You don't want to think a few years down the line, I wonder what would have happened if. Take the opportunities and be bold. And take the resilience that you've demonstrated at our university with you to employment. Confident that our degrees are highly valued by employers. We are top in the ranking of Australian universities with the satisfaction of employers with our graduates. And it's not just the degree that they feel prepares you well, it's also that you will get a job within 4 months if you have a UOW degree. I'll give you a little bit of advice about choosing the right job. I look at 3 domains: personal satisfaction and purpose of the job. That's really fun and fulfillment. Second, I ask myself, will I get on with other team members and the boss? Do I have shared values and work ethic? And third is the remuneration. Is it appropriate? Super, salary, fringe benefits? You must have at least 2 of the 3. And believe me, money doesn't make up for a boring job performed in a team full of weak links. Finally, you're a very special cohort. You're the first to graduate from the University of Wollongong in law and business after the WHO declared that the pandemic was over. I predict that because of that, you'll have extra responsibility in employment to develop and to develop and model business practices and legislation to establish whether we should be going back to the CBDs or whether we should have distributed resources for the regions. You'll probably also have to do similar work for climate change, which is already with us, and for tactical limited warfare, which is also with us. Wasn't that a surprise? So these are vital tasks that you're going to do, and I can't wait to see the success. There might be a premier among you, a prime minister, an attorney general, the CEO of a major Australian company, and that's just the women. So these challenges will also bring mouth-watering opportunities for business and law over the next generation to change things around, make a difference and improve the quality of life of individuals, not just in Australia, because these are global problems. So become a world citizen and take your skills all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Emeritus Professor Wilfred Yeo, for that very inspirational talk. I would now like to call upon Ms. Joanne David to give the vote of thanks. Joanne graduates today with a Bachelor of Laws. Joanne was an active member of the Law Student Society and has demonstrated a significant commitment to her studies. Please join me in welcoming Joanne to the stage.
Deputy Chancellor, members of the University and distinguished guests, fellow graduates, family and friends, it is a great privilege to stand before you and present the vote of thanks on behalf of those that are graduating today. Congratulations, we did it. Okay, yeah. Woo! Okay. I know that when we began our university journey, this moment seemed so far away, kind of did for me anyway, but now look at us now. Whether you came to university straight out of high school or decided, you're going back to study and what you needed to do to pursue your dream, whether you travelled from regional New South Wales or overseas to study at our beautiful campus, whether you came here as a mature age student as myself, whatever your journey has been, you should be so proud of how far you have come and what you have achieved. I am sure everyone can agree that the University of Wollongong is not just an educational institution, it is a community. Your time at UOW has allowed you to uncover your passion and use them to make an impact. So reflecting on my experience here at UOW, I know that change starts here. It starts with us. And as the world does face more challenges in terms of inequalities and social injustices, we need to find our purpose and find our why and help those that are marginalised groups find a voice. So whether you have had a short or long time on campus before the global pandemic, not going to say the C word, but anyway, the connections that we made with our peers would last a lifetime and most certainly assist with the transition to online learning. I can safely say it was a tough time, especially for me, and I'm sure other students would have faced this as well. So navigating through the virtual world, and not to mention the numerous Zoom classes that we had to attend, but we all did it and we showed up and supported each other through it. I'd also like to thank Professor Willoff for sharing his message of just be open to change, and that is to better the future. We will take your words of wisdom with us as we continue into the next chapter of our lives. So on behalf of my fellow graduates, I would like to extend a very special thank you to all the parents here, partners and family and friends, and of course our pets, for their unconditional support and for their words of encouragement, because I'm sure you guys suffered too. No, I'm joking. We would not be here if it wasn't for you, so that is a special thank you to all of you. I would also like to thank our academics, senior leaders, our lecturers, our teachers, and our demonstrators. You have shared your wisdom with us, which has allowed us to grow not only as individuals, but as professionals as well. You've always believed in us, even when we questioned if we were making the right decision. Above all, alongside the University of Wollongong, you provided us with a world-class education, despite the ever-changing pandemic and educational interruptions. For your hard work and dedication, and for all you do for the students, we thank you. We thank you. We have been lucky enough to have all these people at the university help us to where we are today, but now it is time to start making our own way in the real world. Good luck, graduates, and enjoy the next chapter, and to make a positive change. Go hard.
Graduates, families and friends, we are coming to the close of the ceremony today. We now wish to share with you our graduation video. We hope this video will encourage you all to reflect on the infinite moments that have led to where you are sitting today.
Everything we've done has led towards today. But graduation seems singular. After all, it's one day, one degree, one end and one beginning. Think about it this way though. If we divide today by 4 years,
or 5 years,
or 3 years, or 8 years,
the equation becomes clearer. Because today isn't just an event or a graduation or a moment of change. It's what we've created through 24 subjects.
11 all-nighters.
357 books read.
54 5,000-word essays.
40 monologues critiqued.
154 films watched.
And 4 films made. Let's be real though. Our experience is way bigger than just the classroom. You've got to factor in
665 hypotheses,
6 heated dramas,
2 semesters abroad, 5 new cultures experienced,
12 concerts attended,
843 waves ridden,
169 hours lounging around,
17 dance parties,
2 major heartbreaks,
and more lifelong friendships than we can count.
When we take those experiences, the long days, late nights and early mornings into the equation, we realise that graduation at the University of Wollongong isn't just some singular thing.
That it's a transition from finding our purpose
to changing our world with the purpose we found. That our passport to the future has been stamped
with the mark of a globally respected education.
And most importantly, we realise the moments that led up to this are a tapestry,
a symphony,
an equation,
a 65,000-year-old history.
We realise that though today is a single moment, graduation is much bigger than any one day. Because, like an algorithm made up of bits of code,
or a building built from many bricks,
or a community built from many different people, today is the result of our
experiments,
experiences,
tests,
trials,
and victories.
So that's what we celebrate today. Not the cap, not the gown, but the infinite number of moments we shared at the University of Wollongong.
I do love that video. I think it's a wonderful summation of a university degree, and congratulations to everyone involved. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close, I'm going to please ask that our graduates remain seated and that everybody else in the room please stand. I would now like to ask you all to join me in congratulating our graduates with a warm round of applause. Thank you. Please be seated. I would like to sincerely thank the students and staff who have volunteered their time today to assist with this celebration. We feel incredibly proud to celebrate our graduates here today. We would now like to invite all of you to join us outside under the marquee for photographs and to congratulate all of our graduates. Our Aboriginal community members will lead the academic procession, who will be followed by the graduates and then our VIPs. Guests, please be patient and remain in your seats as the ushers will be giving instructions on exiting the venue. Please take their direction as you will be exiting row by row. Congratulations once again to our graduates, and I now declare this ceremony closed. Thank you.